Frank Giavella with The Contending. Anna Campbell's exciting new indie film, Nora, world premieres at CineQuest this weekend. And I'm so happy to have her here. Welcome, Anna.
Thank you so much. Honored to be here.
Congrats. This is on crafting such a deeply affecting film.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's been kind of a whirlwind.
Well, let's dive right in. It's a deeply personal story. I mean, you wrote it pre-pandemic, and can you speak a little bit about writing the screenplay and where the inspiration came from?
I did. I was in LA for many, many years pursuing my personal dream was to be an actor. And at some point that shifted into wanting to be the person who chose which stories were being told. And when we chose to move back to Portland, there was this thought in my head that I was somehow giving up on my dreams, that in order to focus on my kids and their well-being, that I was going to leave myself a little bit behind in the dust. And fortunately, weirdly, it became an opportunity to do the exact opposite. So hence the movie was born. And by choosing to go home and meet up with those artists in the town that I was born in, all of my dreams seem to be coming true. It's kind of crazy.
That's amazing. As life imitates art, art imitates life.
Yeah. And
So
and they take care of each other too, right? It's beautiful.
it's incredible. Wait, you're wearing three hats, honestly, really four because you're producer, and really five because you co-wrote most of the songs.
I
I
did.
have to say to you, usually when this happens, it's been my experience that one usually suffers, and the one that usually suffers is the acting part. Not with this film. You deliver this wonderfully nuanced, understated performance. I want you to speak a little bit about deciding to take on all those tasks and how it was directing yourself.
Wow, you're gonna make me cry. First of all, thank you so much for the just compliment. I have overachiever problems for sure. That's been true my entire life. So it's just sort of continuing in that trend. I think I was really lucky in this case because I was so intimately familiar with the story. It was something I could experience. And as silly as this sounds, in the process of making the film, I was still in that fear. And so being able to access that as the performer, in addition to the person crafting the story from behind the camera, was not as difficult as it probably should have been. I was also deeply supported by an amazing crew who were taking incredibly good care of me the entire time. So even though I was only watching the last of my takes to find out if I needed another one, I mean, the cinematography is amazing. I knew that everybody had my back. So there was just a lot of trust and faith in being able to put out that vulnerability comfortably. Yeah.
In terms of your cast, I mean, they were terrific, and I want to start with Nick Fink,
Really
who,
delightful.
oh my God, he's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, he's incredible. And what an amazing human too. Just a pleasure to be around and always present and always, ready to go. The first day that I met him, I was, nervous, first time director meeting my new star. And, we hadn't had a lot of interaction up until that point, and we're doing a quick wardrobe. And at the very end, as I'm about to walk out of the room, he goes, wait, 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 could we try the song together? And he sat down and he pulled out his guitar, which he'd brought all the way to Portland with him, and he plays it perfectly. And he and I came together and harmonized. And that's the creative relationship, right? That's what we're looking for. And it felt the same with Leslie Ann Warren. And I was able to cast so many of my dear friends whose work I've respected along the way. So I'm overjoyed with the performances, but I think it's also just knowing that the right people come to the right project. Or maybe I just got very lucky in this instance, but thank you for noting how brilliantly the performances came together. I'm so, so pleased with everybody's work.
They really do. And you mentioned I Fall Apart, that moment. Yeah, I mean, it's for me the moment in the film.
It is, isn't it? And that song was so important in crafting the film. And Noah Harmon, who really did write the songs, I'm part of the lyrics and part of the creative team behind them. But I really want to throw him full credit for being such an amazing uh, creator and being able to find the story within the music, right?
Mm.
Because they have to hit a specific emotional beat, which is what music is brilliant at. But to do that without it turning saccharine or any of those things, and that song just is this huge release for the character and hits this really beautiful high point in the film. And I'm so thrilled with it.
Well, it's really true. And I mean, as opposed to the other music moments, which, by the way, those fantasy sequences so relatable because how many of us daydream, videos? A-
Yeah.
And then placing them in the film where you place them to help the evolution, I thought was incredible. But that then it all leads to, for me, I fall apart.
Yes, exactly. It's the moments of fantasy that lead to the real moment, right? The moment where
Yeah.
you do actually let go. I mean, I'm a, MTV generation kid. I didn't have cable at my house, but I would go to my friends' houses and just suck up all of these amazing images. And it was really fun to play with versions of images that I'd been seeing and being fed my entire life, turning them on their head, making them my own, and expressing them differently in order to tell, a version of a different story. So thank you for noting them.
Let's talk about your daughter playing your daughter. She was another. I mean, what a treat. Did you know right away that she was going to play the role?
When I started writing the film, actually, what I started writing down were conversations that she and I were having. She is an amazing and observant person, and watching a child experience what you're going through in this beautiful, pure, simple, straightforward, direct way, it just was magical. And so I always wanted her for the part. But when I asked her to do it the first time, she said, "Oh no, mama, no." And I was like, "Okay, no, I'm not the mom who's going to push their kids into doing anything they don't want to do. That's my responsibility is to take care of them first, right? That's what the whole film's about." And a couple of days later, I said, "Sophie, why didn't you want to do this?" And she said, "I don't want everybody staring at me." And it was this beautiful moment of her being able to express her fear of the vulnerability to me. And so I explained to her that on a film set, there's not actually hundreds of people at the same time. It's not the same as a live performance. And she goes, "Oh, okay, I'll do it then." So not only was the part absolutely written for her, but how magical to be able to find the truth in those moments with my own amazing child. And my youngest is actually the little girl in the fantasy sequence running through the forest, too.
Oh
So
my God.
family affair.
I love it. Well, tell me a little bit about the challenges of actually getting the film made because it could not have been easy.
No, I mean to do first of all, I obviously tried to do an awful lot on a first feature, and that was a ridiculous thing to set myself up to do because we shot primarily at the in 2021 for the realism sequences. We were in the middle of the pandemic, and we ended up falling between two larger projects that had come in Portland, and I got the creme de la creme of the crew up there. And so it just turned into a magical moment where people were hungry for work, having not worked for a year. But they came on for the story. They came on because they knew we were trying to make something magical and special. And I'm just so grateful for the film community in my hometown for coming and getting behind me. They always say in filmmaking, if you knew what you were setting yourself up for, you'd never do it. They're ridiculous tasks, and as you pointed out, I actually accidentally signed up for way too many of them. I have this sort of energizer bunny, like I don't quit. If I say I'm going to do something, it just just go until it's done. And so we were able to film the principal photography of the real life story first, and then focus on the music videos because each of those is their own mini movie.
Yeah.
And each of them got their own moment, and we filmed three of them back to back over the course of 1 week. And then the animated one, I was able to work creatively with that team separately. And then the final one, the drone footage out in the Columbia Gorge with the spectacular red dress, was its own separate shoot. So just kind of did it till it was done, I guess.
And now you have your own triple threat calling card, which is
What,
nice.
what was I thinking? Like, what world am I living in here? It's crazy.
Well, you pulled it off. Was it difficult did you find yourself starting without having all the financing and then you got it, or were you able to like gather it first?
Yes, no, I had a good chunk of everything organized, and I was really lucky with angel investors and and friends and family coming together to support me. But we also were able to take advantage. Film Oregon has a good incentive package, and they were able to support the project, which helped us through post. And again, people being willing with a first-time filmmaker to work lovingly with me, and I can't wait to pay everybody full rates on everything. But I just got really lucky. It really felt like it was meant to come together. Everything that was needed found the exact right version of it at the exact right moment. I don't know. It was one of those projects that just felt really, really insanely lucky. It'll probably never happen to me again and still won't stop me from making films for the rest of my life.
Good. I love hearing that last part. Absolutely. Did you have a rehearsal process at all?
No, indie film, we're moving so fast. I worked a lot with my daughter because I knew I wanted her to feel really comfortable. And so we played make believe a lot and ran the lines. She weirdly memorizes brilliantly and she would correct me on my lines and stuff. It was very helpful, actually. But no, we didn't have very much of anything. We were lucky in recording the songs that we did a demo round first and then went into the studio, which actually opens the film, was part of a recording session that where we were working on some of the songs for the film. So um, in that there was some time to try it, make changes, and get it right, but no formal rehearsal process, which is
Wow.
sad, but it worked out okay. So
It did work out okay. Yeah. Let's talk about Leslie Ann because I just watched Choose Me because I had to review the 4K that came out. And I mean, she's so good. My only complaint is there's too little of her.
couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. She's an angel. I turned to her again, met her on the day of shooting, had, gone out to her with a straight offer, an idol of mine for years. She's my Cinderella. And I just think Clue is one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. And her turn in Victor Victoria. I
Oh
mean,
my God.
and I said, why did you say yes to this? And she looked at me with the most beautiful expression. She goes, it's a good script. And just, I'm just gonna start crying. But she told me she connected with the story of balancing being the artist and being a mom. She has an amazing relationship with her son. And again, it felt like we had meant to find each other and being able to tell this story together with such deep, instant understanding was magic.
I love it. She's my Cinderella too, so I get that.
She's
Right?
magic. Yes.
Yeah. Did you find that the film changed in post? I'm curious.
A little bit there. I had overwritten it for sure. So we actually lost entire sequences. There's a couple of lines that still exist based on. There was a whole thing with like jam on a sleeve. There's one close up where you can see, and that was a whole storyline of her being a hot mess and not being able to pull it together. And that was plenty established by the time the movie was done. We didn't need another version of it. And there's the moment where oh, sorry, it's raining really hard here. I hope it's not interfering with our sound, but there was another moment where I mentioned a blackberry milkshake, and there had been a whole thing about her trying to make her daughter comfortable in our new world with finding a special treat for the two of them. So there's these little vestiges of things that I had to remove, but I never doubted. I think, they say that the movie is really truly made in post, and I felt very lucky that I was able to make cuts comfortably and choose what was really best for the story and for the character.
Nice. Oh, wait, so you had quite a number of t TV credits. Can you discuss a little bit about your early career and what you wanted to accomplish and where you feel like you are right now?
Oh, thank you for asking. No, I moved to LA right after college with every intention of, making it big as a movie star. That was, doing film and television. I went back east for school, and instead of choosing to move to New York, where all my friends moved and pursue theater and film and television there, I was like, no, I'm going straight to the source. And part of that was I love the larger stage that film and TV offer, in that you can speak to more people. But ironically, my entire career as an actor, and I was really lucky. I got to do the commercial work. I got to get paid. I made health insurance consistently, but I never broke to that second level where people are chasing you. And it can be really exhausting to be asking people for jobs and, looking for the next story to be a part of. And at some point, I realized almost by accident, I coached actors a lot, and I was really good at working with people to both draw the story out of them and the emotional needs that they had. I don't know, it's just a skill set that I ended up with by accident. And then my mom is an amazing watercolor artist. Her name's Jane Campbell, and her trees are actually in that same music video with the young child running through. Those are all her art that fills it in. And I realized she had actually given me an aesthetic eye. She had taught me to look at things for the beauty in them and how light hit things. And so, almost by accident, I realized that I had the skills necessary to be the creative force behind all of the elements coming together. And making the transition into directing has been incredible for me. I really love being able to choose the stories that are being told and speak directly to things that matter to me. I love acting. It will always be my first passion and my first favorite art form. But it's relieving to be able to choose also.
And to be able to tell those stories, I think it's so critical. And so, do you think that having a career and a family, not just for women, because it's so sexist when that question is asked, but for anyone, is viable?
Thank you for asking, and thank you for I'm really careful within the film. I don't want to be, there's a really big feminist conversation right now about making sure we're fair and equal. And I don't ever want to vilify, the men in my life or men in general. We need to have the conversation openly and broadly. But I do think that now's a great time to be saying, let's look at this. Let's absolutely double check and make sure that we are balancing all of these things. And I absolutely think that it's possible to quote unquote have it all, but not the way other people are defining it. I think we need to take it back a step and decide for ourselves where the important thing lies. I have plenty of amazing friends who are never going to have children. There's no judgment there. I have plenty of amazing friends who are very happy being stay-at-home parents. There's no judgment there. We have to find the right balance for ourselves. And for me, knowing that I was never going to be able to give up the part of myself that wanted to be both a working mom and a professional artist. I mean, that's how the film happens, right? So I hope that we can bring an inspiration that there's a version of following your dreams, never losing sight of the person that you always wanted to be, that's always possible for you. It doesn't matter what phase of your life you're in. One of my dreams was always to be a mom too, that I didn't want to give up that opportunity. And I have the most amazing children. I wouldn't have wanted to skip that for myself, but let's let everybody make those choices for themselves.
Oh
That's
God,
my dream.
absolutely. And you show it in the film how the petty jealousies come in, and then they start to define the way you're supposed to see yourself. I love well, I'm calling them bitches. I I love the bitches music video. It was just spot on.
Yes, thank you. That one came out of I always used to read the Archie comic books in the grocery store line. My mom would never buy them for me and I'd put them back. And I found myself wondering one day, why are Betty and Veronica arguing over this one boy, right? There's this imagery of like, this is how you're supposed to be. And so in that video, I was able to take this sort of comic book aesthetic and go, no, how about being yourself instead of being what we're told to be during that? And I have amazing relationships with women, but there has been a competition that's been assigned to us that I would love to kill. I'd love to be able to say, no, 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 we're all in this together, and I'm here as your greatest support system and as your true friend. There's enough for everybody. We just again have to define it for ourselves.
That's exactly it. So tell me who your inspirations are
My inspirations as a filmmaker or
as
as
a
a musician
filmmaker.
or all of them. I mean, I grew up watching movies all day Saturday while I was doing art projects, right? So, I'll take steal from all of the big guys at the end of the day. But I think one of the things that, I'm not an auteur director in that I'm needing to say something that's so elevated. I want it to be able to be accessible and to be able to be something that, a great number of people can find themselves within. So for me, it's the Spielbergs and are these people who are looking for a story that actually can affect our children as well as ourselves, I guess. My gosh, it's a little bit of everybody. I'm that person who watches it all, and wants a piece of every little piece. Brings in what has mattered to me almost accidentally. Like, not a study because I never formally studied directing. It's also just sort of what's amassed in my head, I guess.
Well, for somebody who hasn't studied directing, you put together quite a. I mean, I feel like, if you absorb enough film, that's your education.
That's exactly what I'm saying. And because I was never, that's why I'm almost hesitating at the question because it's no one thing for me. I love horror movies and I love broad comedies and I love really cheesy, family shows. But I also love the amazing stuff that's coming out on all of our highbrow. I want to see every single independent film that's being made. I mean, it was so exciting that we're having a referendum at this moment in Hollywood that independent film matters.
Yes.
It's a beautiful time, and as we all know, the distribution models have shifted really drastically over the past few years. But what we need right now is new voices being able to tell stories that are connecting with our generation and beyond. And I just hope there's a spot for me in all of it.
Oh gosh, there must be. I yeah, I'm the whole thing with some people grousing that, well, Nora didn't make any money. How dare it win Best Picture? But it happened to be one of the best pictures. So isn't it great that we showered an indie film with that award?
And, if you're paying artists to do their job, you're doing something right, right? That's the dream. There's so many people out there making independent films who aren't able to make a living doing it. And if that's the only referendum we pull, we don't have to get rich. If we can pay for our kids and their needs and, make sure our mortgage gets paid if we're lucky enough to even get there, just give us the opportunity to, buy our single ticket, come have that conversation and that direct exchange with me, and let's have a conversation. That's what the magic of art is, right?
Yeah,
So
absolutely. So your world premiering this weekend and next Tuesday. How excited are you?
it's amazing. I mean, I've obviously seen the film a number of times myself, but to see it with an audience who's never gotten to experience it before and who doesn't know me very personally, it's sort of, I mean, it's terrifying, right? But it's this big test and it's a referendum for what the film is capable of. And I was very, very nervous for a long time, and I'm suddenly finding myself nothing but excited that now's the time. You spend a lot of time making a film, and then it feels like it's over because say, okay, this is the final cut. But then it has this whole second phase, and especially as an independent filmmaker right now, we are in charge of making sure that the word gets out there, and we've become our own marketing teams, and we have amazing people supporting us. But it's our job to enjoy this phase just as much as the making it phase. And I'm eager to jump into meeting people who want to hear the story. So I'm excited.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, and it is about feeling the journey because your journey's actually part one just is over, but part two is just starting right now for this film.
Yes, exactly. And now's the time. And I want to hear what people think, right? That's the goal, is to be able to actually be in conversation with an audience. And oh, I'm excited for Saturday. It's going to be great.
Well, I'm excited for you. I wish I could be in that audience with you, but
Oh,
unfortunately, I'm on the other coast. Uh,
thank you. Okay, we'll come to you next. Don't worry.
please do. I'm there first screening. S- so I again, I'm really excited about. I can't wait to hear that this has snagged distribution because I know it will. And I really look forward to seeing what you do next. Director, writer, actor.
Oh, you're so sweet. Well, big news is coming, so just know the film will get out there in the world, and we're going to come to you. We're figuring it out. So it's amazing to be here with you. Thank you, FJ.
Love hearing that. Thank you. Thank you for taking the time, and I wish you all the best this weekend and beyond.
Thank you. We'll talk again soon, I hope.
Thanks, Anna.